in here. Bada bing, bada boom. Welcome to PFC 256 Podcast FC Show World Cup semifinal review. I'm here with Huss and Snacks. Al is somewhere in a ditch drinking his sorrows, somewhere in a ditch in Paris,
Probably drinking
drinking
wine.
his sorrows away, right? Drinking some
Al,
Bordeaux.
can Al afford wine?
No, the wine is actually really inexpensive there. I don't know if we got into it, but
Cheaper than water.
before on the show. But I went there for school for a few weeks, and literally wine was cheaper than water. It was €1.50. So I was like, all right, cool, and you can drink on the street. So I literally was drinking 3 bottles of wine with like 10 beers at night. It was
classy,
awesome.
House. It's so classy.
With the bag, you rolled over the top.
There you go. There's your hussy.
And
Yeah,
Tom,
that's 21. I was 21 at the time. I was excited. I liked it.
And Tom is away at New England Revolution residential camp. I don't know if you guys know, but he's a New England Revolution Academy coach. We're talking MLS Academy coach. So that's why he's not around. So it'll be a 3-man show. But let's get into it, man. Big game today. Croatia edging out England 2-1.
The heartbreaker.
Extra time action. Heartbreaker. What are your thoughts, boys?
Hussy, start us off.
Okay. So coming into the game, if you have listened, you would hear me talk about that. I thought England through and through for the most part, minus Modric, Rakitic, for a few reasons. One, I do believe that Modric is top 3 best midfielders in the world. He's proving that he might be the number 1 best midfielder in the world through this tournament. But this is they've had 220-minute matches leading up to this, and they go into extra time again. But even before they get into the extra time, I was thinking maybe the legs are a little tired. It's an older team. England has momentum. Harry Kane has cooled down. If he heats back up, it's going to be an easy thing. Sterling hasn't even been playing well. Defense has been looking great. The young team with a lot of energy. I just figured that England, I thought they would maybe be able to get 1 or 2 goals in the first half. We saw Trippier with the goal. Unbelievable start. Unbelievable free kick. No one could have saved that. Put anyone in net. That goal is still a goal. Lovren goes up. He ducked his head a tiny bit, but it still went over his head. He wasn't hitting that. It was literally perfect.
Yeah, man, that was a rough start for Croatia. Silly foul by Modric, basically clatters into the back of I think it was who earned it. I think it was Sterling who earned it. I could be wrong on that. You have to fact check me. But basically clattered into an English player at the top of the box. It might have been Dele actually.
Yes, it was Dele Alli.
Silly foul to give away that early. I think 4 minutes in. The free kick was in the 5th minute. Kieran Trippier, man, I'm tired of Tom talking all that smack. Unfortunately for him, he goes off injured in extra time, but we'll get to that. But man, this dude, the whole World Cup has been nothing but solid, considering that that was Kyle Walker's position forever, or at least in recent times. And Kyle Walker was moved to that 3-back center back system. So I'm very impressed with Trippier's tournament, man. That free kick, he takes Tottenham free kicks sometimes as well, but they have Eriksen, so Eriksen usually takes most of them. But this kid is so promising, dude. This whole team actually so young. Dele Alli started off super strong. Lingard started off strong as well. Sterling, dude, was giving the Croatian backline fits in the first half, man. Just pinning them back, ball over the top, forcing them to stretch their legs. Like you said, House, they had 120 minutes in their legs in 2 games, or 240 minutes in the last 2 matchups they had. So it was a great tactic in that first half, but the second half, England just kind of ran out of ideas, man. They got into that safety, let's pack it in type of bullshit mentality, which literally from the age of 10, we're all taught, like, you're 1-0 up, don't sit back on it. You got to keep playing the way you came out to decide to play. And they paid the price, man, just like Colombia. Same thing when England was playing Colombia, they tried to pack it in for the last half an hour of the game and they got punished. So I'm not surprised at all that England ended up losing. I think good for them. Like the young team, Southgate, he's working on a special project here, man. I really hope that the powers that be at the FA don't sack this guy or do anything stupid trying to overcomplicate. The players love him, the fans love him. He's young, he's fresh blooded. I think he's got to keep going with this project.
So just a couple of things. First off, got to give a round of applause to the Brits. They did their thing. No one expected them to get this far. A lot of people didn't even expect them to get to the round of 16. So you got to tip your hats off to them. Again, to emulate what you guys have been saying, just edged out. I think in the first half they looked like a team, especially after the goal. I mean, it was 5 minutes then, but especially after the goal, they looked like a team that was like, all right, this team could seriously go on if they win this game and give France a run for their money. And then I just think, Croatia. I think England let Croatia get back into it near the end of the half, and that didn't bode well. And I just think England were too slow to make adjustments. They missed a good amount of chances. Lingard had a couple. Raheem Sterling, Bambi on ice when he gets in front of the net. So they missed their chances. Unfortunate for them. It's definitely we watch the Premier League every week, us three and Tom and Al and a bunch of other people. And it's just, again, it's unfortunate to see, all these Premier League players getting tossed out, or not even tossed out, but getting, they got knocked out. And, you go on, you got to give Croatia all the plaudits. One player I really want to talk about is Raheem Sterling. And one point, I didn't think Raheem Sterling had a good World Cup at all. I didn't think he was good. In every game, I didn't even think he was good at once. Maybe, I'm not saying he was the worst player, but I don't think what he did he didn't bring a lot to the team. And one of the things people have been saying is that he stretches the defense out, he disrupts the defense. But he's a dribbler, and if you get yourself to the goal and you don't score or you don't get an assist, stretching out the defense doesn't help, because what he does is he takes the ball, stretches out the defense, and then he either takes a shot and it's saved, or he tries passing it in and it gets blocked, or he doesn't pass it. It's just all these things that were happening with him. It just didn't, especially today, especially the game before this. Just a point I wanted to mention.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, man. I don't think he had a bad World Cup, quote unquote, but it wasn't a good one. Again, I obviously have to blame him. He was out there playing, but he wasn't put, in my opinion, in the best position for him to succeed. He's a wide player, man. You put him out wide, one-on-one, he gets around that guy, either serves it in or, makes the second defender commit and then can lay it off. That's what he did at City, man. That's what Sané does at City. It's kind of like putting Sané at the number 9 position. Yes, is he good enough to play just about anywhere on the field? Yeah, for sure. He can kind of fake it. But we all know Sané wouldn't be effective or the most effective at number 9. Why? Because he's better stretching teams out from the wide position. I understand Southgate's position. This guy came from an 18-goal, 15-assist season in the Premier League, not even counting goals all around. You kind of have to play this guy, and you're not going to play him at right wing back. That's Trippier's position, and I don't know if Sterling can handle that defensively. So it comes down to basically, I think, the next big tournament, he's got to either abandon the 3-5-2 and go, to a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1 and get some width. England, this game, didn't have a lot of width. Obviously, Trippier does his best to get up and down, but mentally, if you're playing right wing back, your primary position is still back. You're not right wing forward. So it still limits your opportunities wide. And I think Croatia was brilliant in recognizing that. Every time they got the ball, they played it out wide. They played it into the spaces that Trippier left, that Ashley Young left. Perisic and Rebic were just having a lot of joy on the outsides, forcing the center backs to have to shift and come outside. So I know we're talking a lot about England, man, but we got to give this Croatian team some serious, serious credit. They've gotten to the World Cup final the blue collar way, and that's PKs and extra time, man. They've earned it through and through. It's been absolutely amazing, dude, to watch him grind out these results. And it's not like they're packing it in and getting lucky. They're playing football. They sometimes do concede the possession stat, but it's not through lack of effort or lack of bravery. This Croatian team is real.
So that's the heart, the desire, the midfield that Croatia had. That's what I hope that England would bring to every game. I'm not saying Henderson had a bad game. It just there was probably at least 3 or 4 passes or clearances that just seemed
Agreed.
wasteful. And I'm not saying that's actually Henderson. I'm thinking that's actually the England squad, because you never see Henderson do that with Liverpool. That's unheard of with Klopp. He doesn't want to waste that ball unless if it is going to a Mane or Salah, for the fact that they have the legs to get underneath that ball. But
let me jump in on that. That's a great point, man. Lingard and Ali, I think, let the team down in helping generate offensive opportunities from the middle of the park.
For me, I think kind of just going off that point, and I agree. I don't think they did enough, but since that system that Southgate plays, and I think one of the points I critiqued with Southgate, his substitutions I didn't think were either right or they weren't timed correctly, and his adjustments to the game when Croatia started coming at them were just non-existent. He still did the same thing. Hey, just play it out of the back, just like kind of like pack it in, don't get hit. And I just wanted to, like, they play so narrow that they have to go through the middle, and it's like players like Lingard, they need to be able to be stretched out wide. Players like Dele Alli, they need to have like a lot of room in the middle, and putting everybody in the middle and expecting them to play that way it's not going to work. There's a reason why nine of their 12 goals this World Cup have been from set pieces.
Yeah, or if Lingard's fine in the middle, because a lot of production comes in the middle, but you have to stretch using the other players, and that buys Lingard and Dele Alli space. Yeah, that's a great point, man. Huss, you're saying about Hendo?
yeah, no, I'm not even going to end with him. The real person that we need to really look at is Harry Kane.
I was just going to say.
Because if he wins the Golden Boot, this is the most Fugazi World Cup Golden Boot there is. He scored 2 goals the first game, 3 goals the second game, and a goal in the round of 16. Well, you know what? It kind of reminded me of a situation, because Trippier got a goal. He's a Spur. Rose came into the game. He's a Spur. Eric Dyer, he came into the game. He's a Spur. Dele Alli, well, he's a Spur. And Harry Kane, he's a Spur. What a Spur is good at? Getting so close, but then blowing it at the end. And that's the only thing that I could have in my mind when this game was going on, because I saw them just fizzling out slowly, and slowly. It just, you could see the life. If you were at the hospital, beep, beep, beep.
Hey, man, look, I love my Spurs. I'm a United fan, but it's super soft spot for Spurs and Pochettino's project. But, man, when you're right, dude. Spurs haven't won shit. You know, they've come close even during the Gareth Bale, Modric era. Came close. The silverware never quite touched it. Yeah, man, look, I don't think it's a Spurs factor, although that's a great tie, and I love that. I think it is a guy like Harry Kane, man. When they needed a superhero's goal, instead of Harry Kane getting it, old man Mandzukic got it. You know, the guy I've been talking about.
What have I been saying about this guy?
Hey, I stand by it. I will take Lukaku over Mandzu any day. But in this game, I have to give credit where credit's due. See, my feelings, my emotions, I can put them away and just look at this logically. Mandzu had a ball in our game, and I think he's the most tired player at the World Cup, dude.
No, I hate him.
He's running on fumes. He's running on fumes the rest of the World Cup.
No. There was a dude, I can't remember his name. I'll have to look it up. He played outside mid or something. The tall blonde that came off with a groin injury or something. He's come off injured the previous 2 games.
Yeah, Strinic.
Yeah, shit. Okay. Oh, so left back. So Mandzukic, no, this guy's a faker. This guy.
No way.
No. What I'm saying is World Cup, you just see him diving and dive. He sat on the ground, 4 times at this game?
Listen, he's being tactical about it. He wasn't like sitting. That wasn't
tactical.
No. He wasn't sitting. Like, if he got hurt, he was down for a little bit. But like after he had scored and he got hurt, like no one's like, I'm not praising him for doing this, but like you can't. wrong him for taking time and like getting back. Players are coming attacking him, like get up. He's like, yo, relax. Like I'll take my time.
Look, it was also legit, man. I don't think it was one of those like.
Did
Look,
you see that?
of course, there was gamesmanship. Of course, there was gamesmanship. But like against Russia, did you see like when I think it was in extra time, he made a run like to the back post, and he never got the ball, and he just collapsed, dude. Like just collapsed. Not a dive, not contact, but just his legs gave out.
Dramatic.
Yeah, call it dramatic.
LeBron James dramatic.
No,
we started the finals when he didn't get the ball. He just stood underneath the basket with his arms up.
I don't think so, man. And I think this guy was genuinely tired. Sure, there was a bit of gamesmanship. I admit, yes, of course, drain the clock. But since when is that a problem? The only people I hear complaining about this, man, is the fucking losing team. And I'm tired of people losing like sore losers. We know the sport. When you're leading late, you eat the clock, man, whether it's faking injuries, whether it's keeping the ball away when the other team wants to restart quickly, whether it's kicking the ball away. Like, these are all part of the game, guys. I know it hurts when your team is experiencing that, but what's Mandzukic supposed to do? Sprint off the field? Are you fucking nuts?
No, I'm not saying sprint off the field, but four times down, I think the ref really needs to take control of that.
Nah, man. It's part of the game.
If you're going down 4 times, sub up, get off the field, or you're faking yellow card.
He's so hurt.
He was so happy. He was so tired. He was so hurt that at the end of the game, he ran and belly flopped and slid across the grass. That's how hurt he was. Yeah, get the hell out of here.
Got electrodes in him. Dude.
Get the hell out of here. He already used all his extra energy after scoring the goal. He looked 100%. He looked like he just got out of the shower after he scored that goal. He's celebrating with everybody. But another one that I really want to talk about, the ref. He let them play.
He was trash.
But I think there was multiple times it could have been yellow cards. Lovren at the beginning game against Harry Kane, he 2-hand shoved him on a break. Boom.
Yeah, that should have been a card. That should have been a card.
I do disagree with Stu Holding, the commentator, when he said that Sterling had the ball on the left side going down. Lovren came in, hit his leg. That's not a second yellow for me. I think that was it was careless, but it's not a second yellow for me.
Agreed.
But there's multiple Rebic. How many times could he have got not 1 but 2 yellows in this game? So I definitely let him play, but there was a little fugazi at the end because that sideline on the other the assistant ref on the on the far side.
He was awful, Huss.
He missed the corner and he missed the throw in.
Unbelievable.
At the end of the game in extra time.
Within minutes of each other. And like you said, England is basically a set piece goal team. So he didn't take away a goal from him, but he took away a massive goal scoring opportunity. I still think, to be clear, I wanted England to win, but I still think Croatia deserved it because England stopped playing in the second half. They went those negative Stoke City tactics. We're up 1-0, pack it in. And it was fucking gross, man. Croatia deserved to go through.
Well, even at the end, Maguire got slashed down in the middle, where I think that very well could have been a foul as well. But again, I do believe that Croatia was the better team overall. Because if you take the goal away, which was, 3 minutes in or something, Croatia basically dominated. And once England started getting tired in that midfield, Modric and Rakitic just dominated. And not only that, but
Perisic.
Oh, yeah, thank you, Perisic. I lost my brain on that one.
The end of the match.
He oh, my goodness. He also hits the post and everything. He was alive, man. Dude,
Perisic was alive. You know why? Because this was his first game this World Cup. Shots fired. This was his first game. In the Euro 2016, I was in love with this dude. Jose was in love with this dude. Most United fans were in love with this dude. He was this close to coming. So close. It never happened. He stayed at Inter. That's when he was in his prime, man. And this whole World Cup hasn't done anything. He's looked like a guy who's got a lot of mileage in his legs. My wife even brought it up during the game. She was like, yo, Perisic, what happened to this dude? What does the dude do? He scores, and he gets the game-winning assist, man. And that step over on that, when he hits the post, that was the cleanest step over. Guys, if you're out there trying to learn step overs, you're out there trying to teach your kids step overs, that step over was so clean, absolutely destroyed the defender.
That's the night. You just put the defense to rest on that.
Yeah, man, that was filthy. His face after he missed, though, that feels like a meme to me.
Yeah. But I do. So the one thing that I take from this, where we talk about England, and England's not really known for skill, shall we say, tactical skill. They're known for being physical specimen who can run like Kyle Walker, who can body somebody, who can keep control of the ball and body someone like Dele Alli did in the midfield. Harry Kane, he can shoot the ball from 40 yards on net. But this is where people who watch the EPL need to take a step back and really watch when they face a team who actually have the ability to pass, because Modric made Henderson's passes look childish. He was putting the ball into space, not only into space, but on their foot, most likely. And everyone from Croatia basically had a better touch, better passing, better dribbling.
I think going off of that, I agree. Like I said, England, for me personally, coming into this World Cup, just kind of based on his recent history, they weren't supposed to go this far. Gareth Southgate wasn't really proven, had an awful Euro, had a pitiful World Cup, 2014. So, I mean, they weren't expected to do that. Now, I don't agree with that. They don't have tactical skill, because the one thing
I meant technical. Sorry, not tactical.
Yeah, so going off of that, the one thing that I feel that they're really good at is following their tactics. So like whatever the boss tells them to do, they'll follow it to a T. So if Gareth Southgate's saying, "Hey, pack it in after you get a goal," they packed it in. It's just that Croatia unlocked them. It's not that they did a poor job, but they were good defensively. But Croatia came at them, unlocked them, and going on that Henderson and Rakitic comparison, it's like comparing gold to copper, man. Like
Modric,
even that helps my point even more. Like, I don't rate Henderson. I love what he brings to the table with his leadership and his aggression and all that stuff, his intangibles. But his footballing ability, is I don't know what the phrase I'm trying to think of. It's at the tip of my tongue, but it's a bit to be desired. That's what I wanted to say.
I'll put it this way though: they're on the same field, facing each other. That's the best holding midfield that England has at the moment.
I would have started Dyer. To be honest with you, I would have.
Well, I disagree with you because Henderson is much better than Dyer. So because the way tactically, the way that Henderson fills in those gaps. Normally, when he plays the ball, it's usually on point because we even saw before Klopp got in there when Sterling, Sturridge, and Suarez were up top. Henderson was able to put that ball into space on their feet. That's why Sturridge had how many in the 20s and Suarez had 31 and Sterling looked like an up-and-comer because Steven Gerrard could just do whatever he wanted in the middle. If they came to Henderson, he would just long ball it. That Brendan Rodgers is one-on-one right there.
That was like 4 years ago now, but now I think Henderson I like what he brings, and I understand the whole form. He's been starting every game. They're in the semifinals. I don't disagree with Southgate picking him, but if it were me picking from day one of the World Cup, I would pick Dyer. I think he's better defensively. I think he connects the play a bit better.
I disagree with connecting the play. Defensively, maybe I'll give it to him because he's also a center back. But in midfield, man, you watch Dyer play for Tottenham, everything is negative with that kid. And maybe that's instruction. Hey, man, don't lose the ball. But you get a guy like Conte out there who we understand defensively what he brings. But now all of a sudden he's breaking pressure with passes. He's making level 2, level 3 passes, behind the defense or, behind that first line of pressure. Dyer, for me, plays everything safe. Henderson, I think this was a case of, one, he can't play a full season anymore with his injury, with his chronic injury. And two, he's played every minute this whole World Cup. And I get it. Guys like Modric have to, Rakitic have a lot of miles on their legs. But I agree with Huss. Look, he's not this world-class dude. I love Henderson for what he brings to the team, man. Organization, bravery, and tactically, he's brilliant. Now, can he always rope a 60-yard pass? Can he break defenders with passing, dribbling? Hell no. But Dyer can't either, man. Dyer's a better tackler, maybe. But as far as with the ball at his feet, Dyer is absolutely negative.
But what Dyer brings that Henderson doesn't is defensive stability. So
I disagree with that.
I disagree, man. England has been defensively stable this whole tournament.
That's not what I mean. I felt like Dele Alli got caught coming back on defense so much more than he often does for Tottenham. And I think if you put Dyer and Dele Alli next to each other, Dele Alli is know how when we talk about Manchester United and we say, well, we need a midfielder to do all the defensive work so Pogba can go do his thing. That's why we brought in Matic, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but
you got to do the same thing for Dele Alli. I know Dele
you
Alli.
need two, though. You need two because when Dyer plays, often Dembele or Wanyama next to him. The problem is they had two attack-minded center mids who are technically, in my opinion, number 10s, but they try to jam him in as midfielders. And then you had one number 6 patrolling. I think in this game it was a bit of a mistake, a team selection mistake in playing Ali and Lingard. I think he should have gone with Henderson and Dyer. You know, I don't mind Dyer being out there, but I don't think he should be playing over Henderson. Maybe Henderson and Dyer, then have either Lingard or Dele Alli, whichever one you want. Then you can sort of patrol Rakitic and Modric and have that other guy to have a bit more freedom going forward. But I agree with you. Oftentimes, Dele Alli had to drop in. Lingard had to as well. But that's the
Harry Kane had to as well.
They're midfielders. That's what they do. They go back and forth. When you have two attacking midfielders, you have to make a switch. And only that, before Henderson's heel injury, he was top 3 in distance ran and tackles in the EPL. But before we get too far away, having a debate whether who should start with Henderson and Dyer, that's getting away from my point. Where my point is, who's the 2 best midfielders on that? Who's the 3 best midfielders in this game? Rakitic, Modric, and Perisic. Because they're not. Look at Modric. Is he stronger? Is he faster? He might be quicker, but he's smarter. That's the thing that I keep saying about England. If they had a Modric, they would be unbelievable because they need someone.
They used to. Scholes was their Modric. Unfortunately,
but then they pushed him out to a left midfield or right midfield, wherever he was playing. But the point is the EPL. Sometimes people have to take a step back. Yes, it's the most popular league, but it still has a ways to go to being the best league, shall we say, because the best players in the world are coming to England, but they're not here. Not all of them are here yet.
I think it's the best league, but it doesn't necessarily mean that English players are the best. Look at Kevin De Bruyne. 10, we'll get into the team, but 10 out of 11 starters on that Belgium team were EPL players. Hazard, brilliant midfielder. Kevin De Bruyne, brilliant. Fellaini, okay, whatever. But like you look at all these teams, man, in their midfield, they have ballers. So I still think the league is better, but it doesn't necessarily mean there aren't balling ass players in La Liga, Ligue 1, and Serie A. No, like Modric is the best center mid in the world. I think De Bruyne is right behind him, and De Bruyne is an EPL player. I think what England needs to work on is addressing that midfield position and really finding someone who can sort of direct play. I know Loftus-Cheek is an exciting prospect, but he seems more of a number 9 than a guy who dictates play. Dele Alli the same, more of a number 10. Dele Alli and Lingard are also the same. I don't see them picking up the ball from Henderson's position and being able to spray it around. I don't think they have that player right now, and it goes through fits and spurts, man. After Modric retires and Rakitic retires, yeah, they have guys like Brozovic in there. Kovacic is coming up. But for the most part, you're going to see the Croatian midfield lacking for a while until that new crop of golden talent comes through. Right now, at forward, England is set. They got Rashford, Vardy, and Kane. They're all set at forward, but a few years ago, it was just Rooney. That was their only hope. Sturridge was always hurt. So, like, it just goes through fits and spurts. I think right now they don't have a true number 8. Jordan Henderson does his best to be a number 8. He's a number 6. And Lingard and Ali try to be a number 8. They're mainly number 10s. So it's just, that's the hard thing about the international stage. It's very rare you'll be strong at every position unless it's a golden era like Belgium or like France right now is going through a golden era. Even Brazil is struggling at number 8. They have Casemiro, who's a brilliant 6, but they're playing guys like Augusto in there. Fred, okay, he looks promising, but he's still not at the top yet. So it happens, man. That's what makes international football so brilliant.
And I think Huss. I think the reason why people will say the Premier League is the best league is because it's the most competitive. It's the most, because you never know what can happen, and then I think really that's it. Because I've gotten this comment. Well, Ronaldo and Messi are the 2 best players in the world, and they don't play in the Premier League. Well, it's like, okay, well, let's look at it. How many teams compete for each of those titles in all those other leagues? 2 or 3 max. How about in England? 6, with the occasional 7th team like Leicester every 20 or so years. You know what I mean? So the fact that you can say 6 teams like are consistently like battling and like 6th place at Arsenal can still attract top talent like Aubameyang and Mkhitaryan and stuff like that. And not just Belgium's team, but like Bleacher Report has been talking a lot about like the players that are appearing in the most leagues or whatever the stat is. And the Premier League is like far and away the most players like that are still at the World Cup or were at the World Cup. You know what I mean? So like obviously the Premier League is like building talent. Maybe it's not the prettiest football to watch, but for me, like I say it's the best because I don't know who's going to win the title next year. We can write off Arsenal as an example. No. I'm saying we can write them off right now, but who knows? A year from now, they could be first place. Like we don't know that.
That's the beauty of the Premier League. It's not the most technical league. So yeah, Huss, if you want to give technical league to La Liga, where even the goalkeeper can juggle for 100, for sure, dude, I'll give that away all day. But yeah, best for me means like competitive. It also means where the best talent. You got a team like Watford signing Richarlison, promising young Brazilians.
West Ham getting like they just signed Andre Yarmolenko from Dortmund today.
Yeah, man, you would never see that. Or not never. I don't want to say never because other leagues are competitive, but it's the money just made the Premier League just more competitive. That's what it comes down to.
I agree with that, but do the English players benefit from the EPL?
No, that's the thing.
It's been a long loop where I'm trying to get to, but that's my main point. Where England, like I said at the beginning, when they faced a technical group like Croatia, and then their brains started going, because look, they can run up and down the field all day, they can outmuscle people all day. If they don't put the ball in the net and they keep on running around the field, their brains are going to shut off, and we saw that by John Stones on that play with Mandzukic with the winning goal. You saw him not even aware that he's behind him. Head was kind of sloping a little bit.
He was walking up too.
Yep. Once that ball was won in the air, he realized behind him. You could see the panic and the worry in his face. He runs back. He was too late. So you know what? In a way, when I hear people say La Liga, EPL, this is the type of game where you could say, you know what? You can keep your strong muscles. You can keep your fast runners. We'll keep our passing.
But I don't think that was it, Huss. I think that was just fatigue and age, man. He's 24 years old. You wouldn't see Rio Ferdinand make that mistake. You know what I mean? Like, yes, of course, he's made that kind of mistake. But I think this was just exhaustion, man. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes your brain shuts off, and I don't think it's because you're a worse player, but it just happens, dude. Like you can go player for player with Croatia and compare them to guys in the Premier League. To your point, I think England players do, suffer because their league is so attractive to other foreigners. It's like the MLS right now. The reason why the U.S., or part of the reason, I believe one of the main reasons the U.S. is not in the World Cup is because they've made CONCACAF so competitive by giving most of the Honduran team, an MLS home, giving most of the Costa Rica team an MLS home. So like all these teams they used to beat up on because they'd play in their local league, now all of a sudden are playing in MLS. Is MLS the best league? No. But a lot of Americans are also playing in the MLS.
First division or anything like that.
Exactly. So now you're strengthening your opponents. So that's what England's doing. They're strengthening their opponents.
And going off of that too, I mean, not just you, Huss, but a lot of people say like England aren't good, but the best league is in England. That doesn't 1-1 doesn't add up. But look at where they just ended up. They just finished in the semifinals of the World Cup.
The top four in the world.
Brazil, and they have a chance to finish in third. Brazil didn't make it this far. Spain didn't make it this far. World champions Germany didn't even make it to the knockout stages. Like, you gotta, not saying you specifically, Huss or Tiki, like everyone, like maybe like for me, I think Gareth Southgate really did set them up very well.
For sure.
But like players like Trippier playing out of his mind this World Cup. Harry Kane got his business done. Didn't do it in a fancy way. Most of his goals were from PKs anyways, but he did his thing. Players like Lingard, Henderson, they're back four. Look at their back three.
So,
look at their back three.
I understand what you're saying, but that brings me to the second point of what I brought up earlier with all the Spurs players on the fields.
Yeah, but it's
what I'm saying is, few years ago, Tottenham had multiple chances at at league title, but they missed their window.
Huss, it's
And what I'm saying is, let me get through this.
come on,
England,
man.
I think, just missed their window because how many World Cups can you say that Germany is going to be knocked out early? How many World Cups are you going to say Italy doesn't even make it? How about Netherlands? Chile?
Yeah, but it's all about the.
How many times do you get into England literally got put into the easy side of the bracket. I think if they don't make it this next World Cup, they miss their window.
But you say
they missed their window. They missed their window.
I feel like there's a very good chance England, this was their window, and they just missed it. Because guess what? France is also very young. Guess what? Germany is going to also be very young. Brazil's very young. All these teams are very young. So what I'm saying is England will not. It's too far to say, but I have a good feeling that I think this was the moment, and it just went by them, just like this.
That's a fair point. But even like I understand your Tottenham shot, and like it was cute. Now
no, it's not a shot to them. It's just coincidence.
No, I understand, but when the team was made up of Man United players, the England national team, you know, when Beckham, Scholes, and all that, they missed it. Then it was made up of Chelsea players. They missed it. It was made up of like England has always missed, so it has nothing to do with them being Tottenham players. It's just a culture. But I understand what you're saying. This was a massive chance for them, but they're playing in a different way than they have historically. There's more freedom. That's why I'm begging the FA to keep Southgate's project alive. These players are reacting to him. You have guys like Rashford who haven't even gotten a fair shake yet. I'm not sitting here saying England's going to win the World Cup. And yes, I agree with you. They had an quote unquote easy bracket to get to the final. But even when they got to the final, they still had to either get through France or Belgium, bro. So it was always going to be hard. Winning a World Cup is so freaking difficult. Everything has to line up. I mean, you watch that France-Belgium game, which we'll get into. Like, Belgium could have easily won that game as well. And then you can say, oh, France, that was your window, blah, blah, blah. But I understand France has a bigger chance. Belgium has a bigger chance. Brazil is also a very young team. Italy, don't give a fuck about Italy. They can suck it. Germany's a young team as well. I hear you, Huss. This was a big opportunity blown. But don't sleep on this English team, man. This English team is playing exciting football. They just need to tweak a couple of things. And they lost in extra time to this golden generation Croatia team. A lot of people had Croatia winning this World Cup. It's not like they just lost to Russia or Slovenia or some bum team. They lost to a team that's well organized, knows what they're doing, and happens to have the best midfield partnership in the world. So, man, I'm not down on England yet, bro. It's still too early.
The first part was about the Spurs thing. That was kind of like a little jab. That was a little funny joke. But the second part, that's more about coincidental. I'm not saying England lost because of the Spurs and they're going to lose because of the Spurs. But I do thoroughly think that this was their moment and it just went by them. You don't get any moments like this. You don't get set up like this. And if they do get set up like this again, you might have to stop.
But maybe next time they'll just do it the hard way. You know, maybe next time they'll do it the hard way.
See, I don't agree with that because if you look at recent history, England have been poor against the smaller sides. They lost to Iceland at the Euros. The World Cup, they lost to someone small too.
They didn't make it out of the group.
They didn't even make it out of their group. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. So, I mean, sure. I mean, it was the much easier side of the bracket, sure. But you have to play who's in front of you, and they happen to beat everyone that they played. Listen, and like, sure, it was the easier side, but Colombia are no slouch. Even without James, I mean, Yerry Mina and Davinson Sanchez alone, like, that's hard to break down.
Are you afraid of Colombia or Brazil? Are you afraid of Colombia or Belgium? Are you afraid of Colombia or France?
I'm not, but you say.
Yeah, but are you afraid of Germany?
Like Germany, I'm more afraid of Uruguay than I am Colombia, especially with
but I'm not arguing with you when I say that the side of the bracket they were on.
I'm saying this was their moment.
But they weren't playing like trash teams. They weren't playing like the Saudi Arabias, the Egypts of the world. You know what I mean?
Okay, this is also the World Cup. I'm not saying anybody's trash. This is the World Cup. Every team's quote unquote pretty much good. But the fact is, they got on the easier side. This was their road to glory, and they missed it.
Yeah, but I agree with you, Huss, to a certain point. This was a great opportunity. What I don't agree with is for the foreseeable future, they won't have a shot at the World
Like at the Euros
I
now,
just
at the
disagree.
Euros now, and like their team is young. John Stones, Harry Maguire, Kyle Walker's kind of
Look at
older.
Maguire's season, dude. Never mind Maguire. We haven't even brought up Pickford, bro. We came into this World Cup thinking the goalkeeper position was the weakest. You see that save he had on Mandzukic, dude? All of a sudden, Pickford now one more year at Everton, and I think he's going top 4, top 6 or whatever. You know, like Rashford is one of the bright prospects. Yeah, he took a bit of a step backwards at United, but his skill is there. So I 100% agree with you, Huss. This was the easy road to nip a quick World Cup in the bud. They failed, kind of like Portugal. Portugal stole the Euros. Greece has stolen the Euros before. This was England's opportunity to quickly steal a World Cup, but they still had to get through France, bro. So yes, the final would have been great for them to get there, but I personally didn't see them beating France or Belgium. So it's not like...
Well, we didn't see Portugal being France either.
Agreed, man.
Yeah.
Agreed. So I 100% agree with you to the point that this was a wasted opportunity, but I think the future is bright for this team, whereas you think the future is bright, but not as bright as other countries.
I think they're going to fall in line with the other English teams where they're sexy. They look like they have the goods.
Other teams, they weren't sexy.
It looks like they're going to have the players. It looks like they might have one of the top, if not the top striker in the world. It looks like they have all these young guys. I think England just right now, they're going to do the same things. They might get to the semifinals again at most in my mind. I don't see them getting to the finals in the next 8 years.
All right. Fair enough, man.
I mean, that's too far to project, obviously, but because they might get put into an easy side of the bracket again. But if they do have to face those tough teams in the bracket in the round of 16, I don't know. I just feel for I love the fact that Modric and Rakitic again in their moment, because I truly do love those guys. But I think England, they didn't leave everything on the field.
I think it's just too early to tell. I do agree it's a missed opportunity, kind of what Tiki's been saying, but maybe I have just too high hopes for this English team. Like I consider myself England international. I consider myself an England citizen just because I love that country so much. You know, I went to Manchester once, and I've traveled to a lot of nice exotic places, and England's not crazy exotic, but it was the best experience of my life. So maybe I have a soft spot for them, but I look at their team and I think players like this starting 11 they had, besides maybe Henderson, will at least still be in their prime, and if not entering their prime, like Rashford.
And these players are doing the business at their clubs. You know, it's not like they're struggling at their clubs. Huss, I hear you, man. This was a missed opportunity. It's going to be harder next time, you know, assuming they don't get a friendly draw, of course, man, because Germany's going to be 2 years older, France, Belgium, Brazil, blah, blah, blah. But I think you're discounting this English team. Doesn't feel like the other stiff robotic teams, only because Southgate is there energizing these kids, and he loves youth as well. So you'll see fresh crop of talent coming through. But I agree with you, man. Missed opportunity for England, bro.
The one area we talked about before that they need to find someone has to create.
Exactly. Agreed. That's what it comes down to. Have that creative midfield force, man.
But they also have to have. I think they got to switch up the formation. I think they'd be better off playing a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3.
Agreed.
That way they're stretched out. They got the best set of players like Sterling. Like, listen, a lot of people don't like Sterling. I don't hate Sterling's game. I just don't like his execution, and that's something he could easily work on to be much better.
And he will, dude. He's got Pep Guardiola for a manager. That guy's such a perfectionist. I mean, the whole world sees Sterling's finishing struggle. And it's struggled since Liverpool, but last season he put 18 goals up. That was more than his last 2 seasons before that. So obviously you don't need to work on Sterling's speed. You don't need to work on his skill. Like in training, you know Pep is going to try to make this guy the best player in the world. He's going to give him that finishing training. Will he ever be a finisher like Harry Kane? No, probably not. But will he be better than he was this last season? I think so, dude. Only because that manager is a freaking genius scientist and a perfectionist. So we'll see what happens.
We probably have to move on to the next game.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Well, I'm just glad that you guys jumped on the bandwagon that Sterling can't shoot outside of 12 yards.
No, I'm still not on that bandwagon. I'm still not.
I'm on it.
I'm driving.
Bro, I'm front seat. I'm right next to you.
I'm driving right now. Beep beep.
Snacks is riding shotgun. Oh, I can't wait till next season. Every time you're gonna be backtracking and be like, "Well, I didn't say you can't finish."
By the way, no. I was just saying he worked on it great, but
No, you won't. You'd be like, "Well, I never said this."
Yeah,
I never
no,
said
I'm no.
Tiki, Bambi on ice.
Penalties don't count.
Go listen to what I said on the Faux Brits. I said he's great at getting you there. Danny Welbeck is also great at getting you there. Can't finish. I understand he had 23 goals, but he had at least 100 chances to put 23 goals in.
I'm not in the business of writing off 23-year-olds. Maybe you guys are because you come from that American fast food generation. If you're not good by 21, you suck.
I'm just telling you what I see right now. That's what we're doing. I'll tell you what I see.
Well,
by the way, don't put Sterling and Welbeck in the same conversation, please.
23 years old. Snacks is ready to write him off, just like Lukaku at 24. I can't wait till these guys are 28, 29, making you eat your words.
Lukaku's going to be like the best striker in the world.
He is. Snacks is going to be losing his mind.
Yeah,
It's all in audio. You can't even deny it. That's the best part. We're not sitting in a bar talking.
We're about to talk about Lukaku. Don't you worry. We're going to get into Lukaku.
Let's get into it right now, man. France 1, Belgium 0.
That's Blues. We're still in it, Tiki. We are still in it.
I know. Snacks and I, before the World Cup, predicted France to win the whole thing. I think Tom had Brazil like a maniac.
Huss had Germany.
Al had England. And I think Huss, with an asterisk, quote unquote, an asterisk, had Germany.
No, I did. No, I'll say that I said Germany, but it honestly was because no one picked Germany. So I was like, you know what, I'll take that because I don't like people just picking the same teams. No, it is what it is. Spain. It wasn't a bad choice, but when it came down to it, it was just like, I mean, I don't know.
Next time we'll let you pick first, Huss, so you can't backtrack.
I like that though. Always let me pick first.
Belgium played a fullback system here, man. Dude, the first 10 minutes of this game, I think, broke Belgium's spirit. They had France on the ropes, and unfortunately, they couldn't cash in with a goal, man. The amount of creativity, the amount of passing, the amount of breaking pressure. I mean, Tiki was whiffing clearances left and right. Varane had to save him a few times. It was an absolute spectacle. It was the fastest, it reminded me of Peru, if you guys can remember back then in the group stage, when they'd come out in those first 15 minutes and just be absolutely blistering pace. But France held on, man, showed their class.
I said on the Faux Brits, hashtag free edge. Go listen to the Faux Brits on iTunes. It's a lit podcast. We collab with PFC all the time, aka me coming on the show like almost every week. But one thing I said if France are able to neutralize Lukaku if he were to play on the right, which he didn't as much at this game, which I actually appreciate Martinez switching it up game by game, and Hazard had opportunities, but I thought he was a lot quieter compared to the game they had beforehand. I said that if
really you think so, bro? I feel like it was Hazard versus the rest in this game, dude. Hazard was.
But like the game before, I don't remember who they played, but the game before he was like Brazil. He was on another level, and I think Pavard did just enough to make him not as effective in the game. I'm not saying Hazard was bad. I'm not saying he was nowhere to be seen, but
I can't agree with that. First things first, Who's Good has him as player of the match at 8.4. That's with a yellow card and being on the team that lost and without a goal or assist. He had 11 dribbles.
And a yellow card, Huss.
Yeah, that's what I said, at the very beginning. And he had 11 dribbles. He was only dispossessed twice. His passing success was at 96%.
Yeah, Snacks.
Get the hell out of here.
Out of his mind.
At the end of the day, France won.
Yeah, but it's a team sport.
Didn't assist. He didn't score or assist. Pavard did what he had to do. Lukaku was almost invisible the entire game. I said if they were able to stop them from doing what they normally do, which is be unreal and on fire and get by people like it's freaking buttering up bread, they'll win. Hernandez did an unreal job on that left back side. Pavard did okay on the right hand side.
Nah, man.
Hey.
Dude, look, it's a team sport, man. It's not like Pavard scored the winner. You know what I mean? Like, it's a team sport. They won with an Umtiti set piece goal. So it's not like France was playing this balling game. Dude, Hazard played out of his mind. All he needed was help from Lukaku, who took a nap. He needed help from De Bruyne, who wasn't himself. You can't do it all on your own. Hazard was like taking 3-4 people on at once, bro, and beating them all, crossing the ball. No one was there.
He was
Absolutely
good.
no one. He was the best player on the pitch on both sides, bro. On both sides.
He also had that shot that he just barely. He probably missed by probably 2, maybe 3 feet. He was coming down the left side, hits it across the net to the bottom right, just missed it. I mean, he's been doing that all World Cup. He hasn't been on. I don't think he's actually been on fire with shooting.
Games, the last 2 games is when Hazard played. The other 4, he napped. He was nowhere to be found. As far as Hazard standards. The last 2 games, dude, against Brazil, lights out. Against France, lights out, bro. Even in those first 20 minutes, like I said, like he was the dude just giving. He showed Pavard's age. He was the first player this whole World Cup to show Pavard is still a young dude. He still got stuff to learn, dude. He was roping Pavard every time he'd take him on, and then Conte would have to come over and help sweep. Dude, Hazard even beat Conte a few times, like one-on-one, not like flicked around. Like literally, it was I'm dribbling at you, bro, just like we do in training, and I'm gonna beat you just like we do in training. He just had no help, and this is your opportunity to shit on Lukaku. Snacks like Lukaku. I don't think he knew there was a game today.
Can I? Okay, yeah. Now I can start. Let's go. This is one of my 2 really, really big takes. So on the Faux Brits, and I think I might have said it. I was texting the group, and I said Lukaku was unreal. Like my opinions changed, and my opinion changed to the point where I'm saying I went from like he's literally abysmal, not to he's amazing.
How can you say that, dude? He scored over 20 goals.
Hold on.
He's nuts.
I went from he's abysmal to he's not to he's amazing, and I think he's the GOAT, and I love this guy. But to you know what, this guy's got moves, and I think, like I said, it's because he was on that right hand side, he did his thing. This game, like Tiki said, he took a nap. He was nowhere to be seen. Didn't help out. That Mandzukic goal that Mandzukic scored today, but Lukaku's not scoring that goal. He's not making that run. He's not putting in that effort.
Of course he is, dude. Of course he is.
Not in my opinion. I think Hazard missed him a couple of times. There was a shot that Hazard took that Lukaku was wide open. So if he had just squared him up, Lukaku would have 100% have buried that shot. I can say that with the utmost of confidence.
Oh my God.
Everything else, I don't think he showed up.
Snacks. I agree he didn't show up.
I'm talking about this one game. I'm not saying the entire World Cup. I'm saying this one game he didn't show up, and they lost.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact.
And that just shows how important of a player he is for Belgium, because he didn't show up and Hazard did, and they didn't win. So
yeah, man, he's super important. He had 63 games this season, dude. Absolutely unbelievable. He has had a crazy health record. It was only a matter of time before the legs kicked out from under this guy. I'm nervous for his first 10 games next season because he's just going to be exhausted. That's when Alexis Sanchez and Rashford and Martial, assuming he's still there, those are the guys who have to carry this guy for those first 10 games, because the amount of work rate he puts in on any team, on Everton, he had the same work rate. West Brom, United, obviously, and Belgium, this kid works his ass off. And I think a part of that has to change in his game. He has to start saving his legs a little bit more, start being a bit of a more lazier forward. Of course, you want to help the team and press from the front and make it hard for the defenders to play out. But your job is to score goals. And in this game, his legs were done, dude. His legs were done. He wasn't making the right runs. He didn't give that Mandzukic effort like you're saying. But I don't think that's a lack of ability. I just think that's.
That's the thing is, I think he can make that run. I think he can score a nicer goal than Mandzukic scored, but he just didn't put in the effort to get there. And listen, I've come to realize if I have to stick with Lukaku for the next 5 or so years, maybe even longer than that, I gotta at least tolerate the guy. And like,
oh yeah, poor United fan. Oh my God. Dude, I can't wait for Lukaku and Pogba to leave you for Real Madrid to pair up with Mbappe and for Lukaku to score 30 goals a year.
Yeah, in La Liga.
He's just playing with good talented players.
Betis and freaking Espanyol, cool dude. But for me, 63 games and 28 goals, maybe I just want more from a striker because I'm used to top quality strikers that score 30 and 40 goals a season. But he like 28 goals for me
30
isn't enough.
which
guy?
If you have less league goals,
striker
if you have less league goals than
striker in the
Raheem
world?
Sterling, less league goals than Raheem Sterling, I got a problem with you because
No, dude, it was a Man City. It was a Man City year. You know who else had less goals than Raheem Sterling? Any other forward, basically, man. Like Sterling absolutely had a blowout year. Man City, like I always said, like even in the last podcast, Man City had a freak year, dude. And yes, they're in a position to have that freak year again. But I don't think they will. I don't think Man City's getting another 100 points.
Let me say there's two world class above the rest strikers, like straight up just strikers. Not Mo Salah because he technically plays on the wing. They're in the Premier League, Harry Kane and Aguero, and they both had better goals than him. And one thing
look at the class you're comparing him to. Like that tells you everything.
But let me get to that point. You're talking about like Harry Kane started after Lukaku did. So it's not for me. It's not unrealistic to compare a Lukaku to a Harry Kane. And listen, I feel like you guys would be proud of me. Like I'm growing. I'm becoming a better person. Like I'm not saying Lukaku's trash anymore, but if I'm comparing him to Harry Kane, who scores 20 plus goals every season and just narrowly misses out on the Golden Boot because Mo Salah had the best year of his career, like it's not like for you to. It's not fair for you to say to me that like comparing. Look at the class you're comparing him to. Who was Harry Kane 4 seasons ago? Lukaku was in the Premier League 4 seasons ago as one of the top strikers in.
Okay. Let's not compare him to Harry Kane there because Harry Kane is a freak when it comes down to. He's a diamond. I mean, like you can't find that right there. He came out of nowhere. He went from rags to riches in the football life, more or less.
So did Lukaku when
Lukaku was no.
West Brom? Come on,
listen. Lukaku did not go from rags to riches. He had potential his entire time. That's why he was getting loaned out to mid-table teams in the Premier League, not to League One, League Two, Championship. Everyone saw Lukaku. People calling him the young Drogba. I mean, everyone saw what Lukaku had. Harry Kane literally came from the woods. He came from the shadows and said, I got this. Sit down, Poch. I got you.
But you guys...
No, look, Snacks, I hear you, man. You're allowed to compare him to those guys. Different players peak at different times, man. Drogba at 21 was not Drogba at 29. And you could have called Drogba at 21 shite and compared his numbers to the other top guys at the time. I understand. Today, Harry Kane and Aguero are better. Aguero had 21 goals last season. Lukaku had 16.
Less league games, mind you. Less league games. And would you say Man City or Man United had a better season? Like a better team? Last season. Listen, last season, yeah.
All I'm saying is this kid has been scoring over 20 goals at Everton. He comes to United, and I'm sure the fans are sick of hearing me this. He has a top 6 start for all forwards at United at all time. And he's not where he needs to be. He's not the finished product, dude. We didn't buy Lukaku for his form at Everton. We bought him because we know in 3 to 5 years, this guy's going to be neck and neck with Harry Kane and Sergio. Well, Aguero will be done by then, but he'll be neck and neck with them, dude. Like this kid's potential is through the roof. He disappeared against France. No question he did. But Sergio Aguero has disappeared too. Harry Kane disappeared against the last 2 teams he played against, dude. He hasn't done shit since the round of 16. But we don't sit here saying Harry Kane sucks. I don't understand why Lukaku takes a day off or a couple of days off. And
but see, now you're saying that I'm saying he sucks. I'm not saying that anymore.
Oh,
normally when you say in 3 to 5 years, I would say, well, why do I have to wait that long? I'm trying to win now, which I'm still trying to win now. But like I understand, like if Lukaku gets better, I'll eat my words. But what I'm saying now is that I think it's completely okay to compare him to Harry Kane, and like there's so much of a difference. There's so much of a difference that like it's not unrealistic and unfair for me to want Harry Kane more than I want Lukaku, which is a very realistic move.
But that's for me that's a shiny object syndrome. Look, I get it. Harry Kane last 3 seasons a beast. He'll probably be a beast for the rest of his career. I get it. But it's that like United's never look, I don't want to say we've never been that way, but usually we have 1 or 2 shiny chips. But when we picked up Van Nistelrooy, he was a hot prospect, but it's not like he was, playing at Real Madrid scoring goals, then we bought him. Like we always buy from these kind of, I don't want to say mid-table or like mid-league clubs, but like we always buy a player who has potential. We bought Lukaku from Everton. It's very rare we'll go to
Valencia.
Barcelona and buy a player, you know? So, like, this is a normal Man United thing. And I feel like for new fans, they see Man United as the Yankees, just buying the hot player right now.
Actually, Young.
Exactly. We've never been that team, dude. We've never. When we bought Ronaldo, we bought him from Sporting, and you guys joined when Ronaldo was already hot. Scholes, we raised that guy. You know, Yup Stam, we bought him, I think, from Ajax, if I'm not mistaken. Like, we're not Real Madrid. We never have been. So yeah, I get it. You want Harry Kane. I wouldn't mind Harry Kane in my club, but I'm okay with not getting Harry Kane because I see Lukaku. He has pieces Harry Kane will never have, and maybe Lukaku will never put
speed.
Yeah, like speed, like dribbling, like work rate, like it's just intrinsically, I think his potential is higher than Harry Kane, bro. As crazy as that sounds, and I don't know if he'll ever hit it, but this kid, he's just, I don't know, I don't even know how to say it, man.
In the next 5 years, I feel confident in saying that Lukaku is going to have over 150 goals.
Like in the next 5 years,
in those 5 years, that's 30,
that's 30 a year. Yeah, for sure. Look, I could absolutely get on.
I think there's a 40 in there.
I think he will, dude. I think once Pogba starts showing up and dishing dimes, dude. Pogba this whole World Cup hasn't had a goal or an assist. But have you seen his output for France? He's very important, dude. So like,
we're just gonna have to see going forward in the future. Maybe my opinion will change. I will 100% admit it when I'm wrong. Listen. If Lukaku scores 700 goals in a season, which is obviously not real, but I'm saying if Lukaku leads us to a title, you're not going to hear me bitching and complaining about it. Like I'm going to be on that.
No, I understand that. My beef is like whenever teams struggle, I feel like people turn on the wrong player, which is why I even started a podcast because like I'd listen to pundits and be like, you guys are maniacs. So like, I don't know. It's okay to have that opinion, man. Like it's not. Like that's the point of the show. Like we don't want everyone agreeing.
Oh yeah, and that's good. That's all. That's great. That's why I like. That's the same reason we got into a podcast. Me and Amir at the Faux Brits because we listen to the pundits and we just talk to each other so much in the game, before the game, after the game, in between games. Like we talk so much. It's like listen, like let's just throw this out there and see what happens. And like it's people like us. Like people look up to people like us because. We're not just dreamers, but like we're actually doing it. We're trying to make it work with like our hectic. Like look at Huss. Huss is working like 20 out of the 24 hours a day. He's got a girlfriend as well. He's got to paint his house. Like look at Al. Al wakes up at 4 a.m. every morning. Tiki, I'm sure you're a ridiculously busy guy. Tom's an academy coach. Like I'm working all the time. Like we're all.
Here's a story for you. When we first, so Al and I were, originally how. He wanted to do like a whole thing. We watch the game and video us while we watch the game. But we got this whole chat thing going. Literally, the text messages. My boss got so mad at me at one point. She wasn't going to fire me, but she was so extremely mad because I missed 150 messages and I forgot to put on ringer. I forgot to put on vibrate. So it rang like 150 times in the office and she almost threw my phone at me. That's like it got to that point.
Yeah, no, but look, I just want, at the end of the day, I want what's best for my team. And this past season, I don't think Lukaku was the guy. You can change my opinion.
But you can say the same about Pogba. Pogba wasn't the guy this season. Rashford wasn't the guy.
But I'm saying, like, I understand, but like, the thing for me is that Pogba this past season. Okay, let's talk about his first season. He didn't have what he like at Juve. He didn't have to do anything defensively. He had Pirlo and. More oftentimes than not, or Marquisio and Vidal behind him. So he's like, let me just go out, shoot from 40. It won't matter because I know we won't let up a goal. This season, I think Pogba, the thing that's misinterpreted about Pogba is he had a stop-start season. When he started off this season before he got injured in the Champions League, best player in the Premier League. We can have a debate about that. Best player in the Premier League at that time. He gets injured, and he comes back. His spot's taken. And when he starts to pick up form again, picks up a red card against Arsenal, then all the beef with Mourinho starts because we're still performing without Pogba. So it's like, if it ain't broke,
don't fix it. And by the way, throughout that whole time, Lukaku's winning games. Throughout that whole time.
But like for me,
in or out, Lukaku's out there
like this amazing amount of service that 28 goals in 63 games.
He doesn't have service, dude. That's why we bought a guy like Fred. That's the issue, is that the United supply from midfield wasn't there, man. Matic would pick up the ball, man. All right, let's refocus, dude. We'll get
But we'll talk about
get
this at
into
the end. We'll
United.
talk about
Yeah,
this at
you
the
Let's
guys
end.
talk
are
about
all
this
about
game.
United right now.
Yeah,
And
man. This
and
is the game's
I
fair
almost
to
got
win.
caught up in telling the whole timeline of the podcast.
I know, dude.
Now,
We're
I cut myself off once I said
World
Peter. I
Cup
was like,
podcast, guys. Like we can't do
thankfully,
this every time. Like we had a 3-hour podcast until we talked about the World Cup for half an hour.
all
All
I
right.
can say is thankfully Tiki joined because Al and I would just been idiots in front of the camera watching TV. Thankfully, I couldn't imagine that.
Maybe we'll do that this upcoming season just to see how it would have turned out.
I don't know.
This is the Alan Huss hour.
Oh man, no, I don't know
All
about
right,
that.
back to this game, man. France, look, this game could have easily gone either way for me, but France showing their class, showing just the amount of talent they have in the squad, man. Absolutely, I'm impressed with them, and I think they have another 2 major tournaments, the Euros and World Cup 2026, and maybe 2022, and then maybe Euro 2024 after that. So maybe
they got 10 years basically. Round up, well, 6 years. They got 6 years.
6 years. I think they have about 6 years in these players, and obviously they're producing young talent as well. But this France squad, I think, is scary. Absolutely incredible performance by them, except for Giroud, cowish Giroud. He let me down, dude.
Missed a bunch of chances.
Missed a bunch. Just a guy with no confidence right now. I don't think he scored at all this World Cup. He's come close a couple of times.
But what he brings to the team, what his like when he drops in, Griezmann goes up, like it's like almost like you can't not start him because maybe he doesn't score or get any assists and isn't involved in the attacking play, but he's so integral to the way they move, the way that Griezmann can play, the way that Mbappe can play, the way that whoever's on the left, whoever's number 6 is on the left wing for some odd reason can play, the way Pogba can play. That's why Giroud has to start. So it's not flashy, but he gets the job done.
Well, I mean, look at the one play that he had. I think it was, I don't know if it was the keeper, I don't know if it was the keeper or Toby, but Giroud ran down. I think it was the keeper.
Yeah, it was Toby. No, it was Toby.
Oh, Toby. He's trying to clear it. Giroud got the foot on the ball, push it towards the corner, and not only was he able to get a deflection so he can get the ball in the corner, but the pass that he had to the middle of the box was unreal, dude. He swiveled that ball right around the defender's body, right onto the team. I can't remember which teammate either, but I just thinking, holy Giroud.
Holy
man, that was good.
Yeah, man. But other than that, man, this game was exciting, but it was a bit of a chess game. Obviously, like I said, it was just one set piece goal. The teams really kind of respected each other. They didn't fear each other or anything. They went after each other, but there was a lot of nerves here. No one wanted to really stretch this game until France took the lead and the game opened up much more. But man, we're looking at the final. We're talking France versus Croatia. Let's wrap up with some predictions here. Who you guys got?
Huss, you go first.
First things first. I was really hoping that Belgium, Croatia would kind of match up for the fact that Belgium would be going through a tough battle between going through Brazil, then France, and then Croatia now with the 120 games. The 120-minute games. But now I'm kind of hoping for Croatia because they just had 3 120-minute matches, and they just almost hang on. They just hang on to that 1-1 draw, and they find a way to go to extra time to win. There were only 2 because 3 because they got the extra time this one. But I'm looking for Croatia on this. I think Modric has a little bit left in the basement. Rakitic, I think one of those 2 is just going to come up big with one of those shots. Who was it that they faced? Was it Spain that they came out of nowhere and just decided? Oh no, it was Argentina.
Yeah.
When they erupted, I think the volcano is ready to erupt again.
Dude, I got France through and through. Team Africa, Europe through and through. Look, I think that factor of 360 minutes in the last 3 games for Croatia is gonna show its effect. I mean, when you got a guy like Kylian Mbappe out there. Like, who's keeping up with that dude? I know Lovren has had a hell of a tournament, and shout out to him. He silenced a lot of critics, a lot of haters.
Is he trying to keep up with Sterling?
Yeah, dude. Sterling had like he gave Lovren a 10-yard head start. Sterling even looked behind him at the ref. I was like, hey, ref, should I chase this? Am I allowed to? Is this within the rules? Me racing this slowpoke? But no, man, Lovren's had a great tournament. But when you got to deal with Giroud, so the physicality of that's going to take a lot out of your body. You got to deal with Griezmann's genius. And you saw that knuckleball he scored against Muslera and Uruguay. So you got to close him down. You got Mbappe, who they didn't really use in this Belgium game as much as they should have. You got Matuidi, who's an experienced guy. You got Pogba, who's playing with his tail up. You got Kante, who worked for days. You got Tiki and Varane, who are arguably the best center-back pairing at this World Cup so far. You got Pavard blowing up Hernandez, Lloris playing out of his mind. Dude, I know I've said this the whole way Croatia has gone through this knockout stage, but I don't see how they manage it, man, especially with the taste of that Portugal loss in France's mouth. They had an opportunity there. That Portugal team was very mediocre, and they found a way to lose that game. This, I think, they're going to go in focused, tails up, heads up. The manager, Didier Deschamps, has been here before. He's been to this big stage. He's won a World Cup with France. He's the longest-serving French manager. So these guys are inspired by him. They grew up watching this dude. He's not going to let them fuck this one up again.
I think I'm going Les Blues, as Tom would say, Les Coq. I'm picking them, and I agree with everything Tiki said, but I think they have too much quality in their side as well. I like what Croatia are doing. I'm not upset, even though they beat England. I'm not upset that they're in the final. I think they deserve it the way they've been playing. They had a pretty easy route, and they've been scraping by, but that just shows that they deserve to be here because they're willing to work harder than everybody. But I think at the end of the day that they haven't come up against a team like France, top 5 in the world for a reason. Have players you could argue at the best of their teams, no problem. And I just think the way France have been playing, at times it hasn't been pretty, but even against Belgium where they narrowly won, I thought they took care of business. It wasn't kind of one of those games that it's like, this team played much better than the other team, but they lost 1-0. I think France have been comfortably the better team in every game that they've played. And I think one point that I don't want to overlook is that France have been watching Croatia as well. They definitely watched this England-Croatia game. I'm sure Deschamps got everybody together, so we're going to watch this. Scout. Figure it out. Pogba, I need you to do this. And I know that players like Pogba and even the manager, they're looking at this Croatia team. It's like, all right, we might go ahead early, but the game's not over at this point. So we're going to have to see what happens. Anything can happen. It's a World Cup final. But I got the French going through and winning, giving me. Then this is a little biased because I picked France to win the whole thing, but I think they have enough quality to see them through.
For sure, man. All right, guys. Thank you for listening.
Oh, we're not getting into the Ronaldo debate?
Oh, yes, that's right. Let's. Well, it's not a debate; it's a news story. But I guess you have a debate for it. What are your thoughts? CR7 moves to Juventus.
So I just want to read off a tweet that I tweeted the day it happened, which was like all of like
almost recording yourself.
Almost no.
Yes, he is. Buzzy caught him.
I'm gonna say I like that move though. I might take that.
That is a Hussy move.
So let me say this: Cristiano Ronaldo, I think, is the best player in the world. And after this World Cup, in my opinion, I don't even think it's close. But I tweeted out the second I found out that because ESPN and Sky Sports can report all they want, but I'm waiting until the club says something. And Juventus and Real Madrid both said Ronaldo's going or Ronaldo's coming or whatever. And I tweeted out Cristiano Ronaldo leaving Madrid at his age to a new country and a new challenge proves his ambition and desire to be what he already is, the best. And the reason why I say he's the best, like the context of that tweet is that this man's 33 years old, and we understand that he's a different kind of athlete. He's in that LeBron James category. He's in that Usain Bolt category, like the upper echelon, the 1%, even if it's 1%. And for him to take this gamble, where some people might not say it's a gamble because he's going to undisputedly the best team in Italy the past nearly 10 years. And he's going to a new league where I think it was a couple of years ago, Fernando Llorente, when he was at Juventus, said Messi and Ronaldo wouldn't be able to play in Serie A. And that's the thing that stuck with me because Ronaldo's now going to be in Serie A. He's off of Messi's shadow. He no longer has to worry about that. He's too big. He's a bigger player. He has a bigger ego to even worry about that. I love this move. I would have liked it if it was a different team. I would like to have seen him come back to Manchester United, but this is an unbelievable move. It just shows the ambition that Ronaldo has. It's a little awkward because he scored arguably his best career goal against Juventus in the Champions League this past season, but
they applauded him for that one.
They
gave him a standing ovation for that bike he scored against Juventus.
It's a great move. I'm very interested to hear what you guys have to say about it, but I mean, I can't give this guy enough plaudits.
That's
what the thing that I rate about Ronaldo more than Messi is that he understands that he's dominated La Liga and it's time for a new challenge. And
like you being this story. By the way, you really liked your tweet there. How's the bruise doing? The one on your back from patting yourself there the whole time. Yeah, that was good. That tweet. Let me read that to you guys. I'm going to explain what I was thinking while I was tweeting it, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts about after I tweeted it.
Huss and I, one and the same piece in the same pod.
Dude, I don't think there's a debate here, man. Like, this is a great move for him. He's won 3 Champions Leagues in a row. That's why I was surprised when you said a debate.
That was the wrong word.
Yeah, like, this is a great move for him, dude. Don't come back to the EPL. All they're going to do is compare you to 09 Ronaldo. Like, don't do that. Don't come to United. They're just going to compare your numbers to your previous numbers. I would have loved to see him at United, but fuck that, dude. He's given us all he can. Like, that's just greedy for us to want him back. Juventus is the perfect club. Where's he going to go? Inter? AC? I mean, Juventus is one of the left.
I thought
he's too volatile.
To leave, PSG would have 100%.
Yeah, PSG would have been cool, but like that would have said a lot about his like ambition levels. Like once you go to PSG, you know, like you're just there to pad numbers and count that oil money. Like at least Serie A, I'm not a big fan of Serie A, but it's still competitive. It's still a tough league, still a respected league. I think it's coefficient. I think it's equal or close to France, League One. So like they're not that different, but deep down we know when we watch these players play and these teams play that Serie A is still a feisty league to play in, even though I don't give 2 shits about it.
Well, for what CR7's trying to do, it makes sense why he goes to Juventus. For the fact that he's going to win a league title. I don't see anyone beating Juventus now with CR7 there. If anyone rates the team over Juventus, well, they're well, we know what they are. But if he can win a Champions League with Juventus, that I don't know if that's going to cement, but that's going that's going to give CR7 that extra leap over Messi because
guys, it's over.
3 leagues. If he wins 3 Champions League with 3 different squads,
come on.
I mean, but again, it comes down to what we said. That I think Tom was arguing, debating about it, but I said that CR7 wants it more than Messi. Messi wants to win. He wants the glory. There's a different level for CR7. He wants to prove something.
He wants to conquer. Yeah, man, look, if Juventus win a Champions League with CR7, sorry, guys, the debate's over. You can say who's the better footballer, like who's got the better mind, who can pass better, assist, use his teammates, dribble, blah, blah. Who's the best of all time to do it? If he wins a Champions League for United, wins a Champions League for Real Madrid, and then goes to Juventus and wins a Champions League, fuck out of here, guys. After that, it becomes an emotional debate because statistically and logically, it's CR7. Right now, I still give CR7 the edge, but I don't think you're crazy for saying Messi because, you know, there's still a debate to be had. But if he wins a Champions League with a Serie A team, guys, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Messi, outside of Barcelona, hasn't done shit. Not for Argentina. Not for nothing, dude. And CR7's out here winning Euros, scoring hat tricks, winning Champions Leagues in multiple countries. Like, it is over. You guys, all you Messi lovers, better pray this dude doesn't win a Champions League.
Yeah, he's on another level. I mean, I love the move. I can't wait to see what happens. I'm waiting till the Juve jerseys go on order. I'm gonna order one the second it becomes available. Just like I ordered Zlatan tickets the day that he signed for the Galaxy. And everything Tiki just said. I mean, you can. I mean, right now, 2018, it's still on the head. You say like it's even from a player perspective, but there is a mental aspect to it. I think Ronaldo is just he's mentally strong. He's way stronger than Messi is. Messi just staying at Barcelona. I'm not saying Messi had to make him like. I think Messi had to have made a move at some point, and I think Man City with Pep Guardiola would have been the perfect move. Not out of the question yet, but I think him staying at Barcelona just shows a lot of who he is. He's very comfortable there, which is no problem. And I think Messi will be at the end of the day, Messi will be the best La Liga player of all time because that's all he knows. But Ronaldo, if he dominates at Juve, he's been the best player in the Premier League, in La Liga before, and hypothetically Serie A. And that eclipses it for me.
Does Messi kind of take a look at this and say, maybe I should go to City?
No.
Okay. But see, the cool thing is I'm not really even comparing CR7 to Messi right now. I think it's a neat fact when you take not just CR7 but another, maybe the best athlete in the world, LeBron James. They both made a switch at the end of their careers. They're looking to cement their legacy, and they both signed a 4-year deal. LeBron James has the 3 years and one-year option, but I think it's kind of cool that they're both like in the same realm right now. I wouldn't be surprised if they get into some sort of business together because those two faces right now would be epic.
I think.
I don't know who could afford
off of that. I think just real quick before we end,
they would afford themselves.
Going off of that, Huss, I don't know if he's near the end of his career. I know numbers wise he is, age wise he is, but right now he's at the top. And let's say at the end of his career,
they're past their prime. What I mean, they're on the downward slope. They're not.
I don't know if they're past their prime. Ronaldo is definitely not past.
Yeah,
he is.
He is.
Come on, man.
Ronaldo's past his prime.
And Lukaku sucks. Yeah, we see how you judge players.
Listen, six
Ronaldo's
Ballon
past his
Ballon
prime, but the difference is
6 Ballon d'Or incoming.
Look, he could still get the Ballon d'Or. Past his prime doesn't mean he's hit the earth yet. He's still up in the moon. Let's not forget how good he was. But dude, you saw him like taking players on. Like he lost his speed. He doesn't have that speed, which is why he switched to number 9.
Takes games off sometimes.
He takes games off to rest. Like, dude is still a beast. I think he's still the best in the world. I think he still has a Ballon d'Or in him, and maybe that's the move he's making now to Juventus to kind of help that Ballon d'Or move. Like, hey, look, I scored 40 goals in Serie A. I gave him a Scudetto, and I made a Champions League final. You have to give me another award. Yeah, man. Just because he's past his prime doesn't mean this dude is done. Like, he still has ways to go before he hits Earth, where the rest of us are.
I think he could play till he's 40, but that's just me. And I think when you talk about past his prime, if he wasn't as effective as he was, maybe the numbers speak a different story, but he's the best at what he's doing right now, and it's not even close.
Yeah, just look at his body, dude. Just look at the way he plays.
I'll put it this way. When did he start his career? Roughly 18.
Yeah.
He said he could play till 40. That's 22 years. He's 33. So you're not saying he's near the end of his career? That's
7 years is a lot of time.
I know, but it's not close.
But it's less than he's on the other side.
Yeah.
He's on the other side.
We're just gonna have to wait and see.
For sure, man.
All right, Shouts for Ronaldo.
And then
for making this move. I'm so happy he's off Madrid. Now I can stop being a fair weather fan for that trash club.
I have 3 more things really quick. Subotic of Croatia. It was really funny what the goalkeeper when Kane took that chest and took that volley. I don't know if you saw the replays. The goalkeeper looked to his left, and he actually flinched. It wasn't even like he was going for a save. He flinched. He was like afraid of the ball. Also, Mahrez to Man City. That is huge. Finally, it's done.
Club record.
What?
Club record deal for Man City.
Whether he starts or not, we'll get into that. And then I just want to touch on fantasy real quick because you know why. All right, let's get into the top 5. McPuney, 237 total. Then 4, we got Tricka, 91, 238 total points. 3rd place, we got Lando USA, which is Al, with 249. Got Brazil in 2nd place with 267. Uh-oh. Who's in 1st place? Oh, it's bingo bango. You know it's me. With a total of 280, with a 13-point lead going into the final match.
Don't forget to set your lineup, Bus. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure as always. We'll catch you for the final review. Hopefully, we'll have the rest of the gang with us, but probably not. I think Al will be sticking around in Europe for the final. But we will catch you soon. Anything else before we sign off, guys?
You might not have Al, but you got snacks. And if that doesn't get you excited, I don't know what does.
On that note, check you later, guys. Peace.